Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Nubia. Okay.
Yes. In this, I could take notes also, ma'am. I took 9 pages notes.
Okay. Yes, Bhargavi. Asha.
Ma'am, 4:30 దాకా తీసుకుంటారా మేడం?
ఇవి జస్ట్ 13 స్లైడ్స్ ఉన్నాయి, తొందరనే కంప్లీట్. ఓకేనా?
అదే మేడం, యాక్చువల్లీ ఫీవర్ ఉంది కదా, అసలు పేషెన్స్ లేదు మేడం ఇంకా. అదే
ఓకే, నో ప్రాబ్లం. తొందరనే కంప్లీట్ అయ్యింది.
బ్రెయిన్ ప్రెసెంట్ ఉంది మేడం, బాడీ మొత్తం అబ్సెంట్ ఉంది. జస్ట్ ఐస్ తో చూస్తున్నా మేడం మీ స్లైడ్స్ అంతే.
అందుకే అడిగాను, కానీ కంటిన్యూ చేయమన్నారు.
పర్లేదు మేడం, చేయండి, వాళ్ళు ఇంట్రెస్టెడ్ గా ఉన్నారు కదా.
అంటే దానికి రిలేటెడ్ ఉంటుంది టాపిక్.
అదే మేడం,
కానీ జస్ట్ చెప్తే మీకు ఈజీగా అర్థం.
అదే నేను వింటున్నా మేడం, వింటూ చూస్తున్నా స్లైడ్స్.
No problem. I will finish within 45 minutes. Okay, within 1 hour, I will take 45 minutes maybe. Okay, right. Bhargavi. So, what is the Antarctica polar vortex? Right? So, this polar vortex and why it was in use in the year of 2019. Anybody know about this 2019? So, this is the art topic, right? So, what is the important to know about this, right? So, there are 2 words. Here is one is polar. One is polar and another one is vortex. So what is this vortex? Right?
Vortex అంటే maybe one side or
yes,
one corner or one side.
Okay, no. So all about and where it is coming from. So vortex is basically this whirling action. This whirling action. Okay? Tsunami వస్తే రౌండ్ గా తిరుగుతుంది చూడండి, నా టైప్ whirling.
Ma'am, is it wind current, ma'am? Ma'am, wind current?
Whirlpool.
Yeah, right, right.
Tornado, whirlpool.
Or it means something which moves in a circular motion.
Okay.
We can call it as wind current, ma'am.
Okay, right. Okay.
Tornado, madam? Tornado type.
Yeah,
we cannot say tornado.
Sudigundalu, sudulu antaru aa type.
We cannot say tornado,
but the motion is like a tornado.
Yeah, right. Whirling action. That's called whirling action. For example, whenever you take a lots of water in a bucket or your kitchen sink, so you can try, you keep whirling it. So what happens there?
After some time, automatically, right? It will.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So that is the whirling action, right? So this is a whirlwind, right? So whirlpools that is created even your washing machine. You can find out also, right? So that is called vortex. It's a whirling action. So now, what is this whirling action and how it is related to this polar areas? So that is where this creation of polar vortex happens, right? So polar. So polar means, which means anything related to North and South Pole, right?
Yes.
North and South Pole. So let's understand this concept in terms of this entire climatology and its impact on the entire climatology, right? So the polar vortex is largely the area of low pressure and cold air, right? Low pressure and cold air. You remember this, low pressure and cold air. So now the first line itself, it seems to be very contradictory because we have learned in climatology that low associated with warm air, right? It is associated with warm air. What is that? Low pressure, right?
Yes.
So what is this? This is low pressure and cold air, right? So how it can be, let's understand, and it's basically where the area itself that is clear, it is the polar area, right? So it will have cold air itself, but why this low pressure? Then so let's understand and clarify this point, that is low pressure area, right? You see here, polar, right?
Yes, ma'am.
This one. So it will have cold air itself, right? So, but it cold area surroundings the Earth north and south pole. So in this figure, where is the north and south pole? So this one, north hemisphere,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So this one, south.
South.
Yeah, right? So actually, there are two vortices on the Earth. That is got, first one is southern hemisphere. So that is over the Antarctica, right?
Yes.
Antarctica. And second one is northern hemisphere. This is over the Arctic region,
Arctic region.
right? So the north hemisphere polar vortex is the stronger one.
Okay, ma'am.
So the northern hemisphere is about how much? 60.7% of water and 39.3% of land. So, and the southern hemisphere is about 80.9% of water and 19.1% is land, right?
And water means ice also, no, ma'am?
Ice, right. Okay. So the term vortex basically is what clockwise or counterwise, right? So it is depending upon the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Okay. So in the northern hemisphere,
Ma'am, counterclockwise means anti-clockwise, opposite to the clockwise direction.
No, I will tell you. So northern hemisphere, it is anti-clockwise, right?
Yeah.
Anti-clockwise means, I think this one, right?
Yeah, opposite to clockwise. Yeah. Yes.
And southern hemisphere is clockwise.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this kind of wind movement, very fast wind movement happens at the poles. So specifically in the stratospheric belt, that is upper atmosphere, right? Upper atmosphere. Here you see here. So that is important. So what happens often during winter in northern hemisphere? Remember now it is winter, right?
Yes.
Winter. So in northern hemisphere, when we say it means sun's movement is southwards, right? Southwards means this one.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the polar vortex becomes less stable and expands. And further, if we say this area, this expands, what will happen? This cold air will come to these land areas, right? Here. You see here. This is winter and this is summer. You see here. Right? So, and it will bring lots of chilly winter negative temperatures also. So this is why it was concern for many of the countries like Canada and also US, right? So
Yes.
that this keeps happening in some certain years where there is this polar vortex migration to these land areas, right? So this is important. So that how this entire polar vortex is formed and how it functions, why this is important. So it is new concept. This is the new concept. Anybody? Not. No. So this first time it was discussed even in in the year of 1853 in an article that is Living Age, where it was discussed as a fact that. So this fall also happens there. So this kind of phenomena is there, and where you have upper atmospheric circulations, which is kind of this whirling wind, which is there at the poles, right? So it is introduced in the year of 1853. So this is not new. Okay. So now you see here. So the terms in these terms of conceptualization and formation, now so many people get confused that how this low pressure system is formed in the polar areas, right? So these polar areas. So why this polar vortex is created as a low pressure? Anybody?
Because of the atmosphere, ma'am. The
Right.
temperature and this thing.
Okay. So what happens there, if you observe what is happening, this is the line which is called tropopause here.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, this is not coming.
Ma'am, can you change the color here? Red lines are already there. Na? Use
Okay.
green color or anything.
Okay, right.
Yes, ma'am.
So, which is about 12 to 15 kilometers, right? That is tropopause.
Tropopause.
12 to 15 kilometers, right? So, and also it is the dividing line between tropopause and stratosphere. So the polar vortex starts at the upper stratosphere, and it extends into the stratosphere, right? And sometimes it continues up to the mesosphere also. Okay. So, yes, what happens? This height continuously keeps going down as we go towards the pole, right? Pole. So at the pole, the troposphere is about 8 kilometers, right? 8 kilometers here. 8 kilometers. So that is between 7 to maybe here, this one.
Yes, ma'am.
7 to 9, right? Between 7 to 9. So, and it is maximum about 15 kilometers at the equatorial region. So that is the basic idea and basic structure. So now what happens? The air from the feral cell, this feral cell, this feral cell and the polar cell, this polar cell. So this is the easterlies and the westerlies here. It meets at this junction, okay, this junction.
What is that, ma'am? Polar trend.
Right. Right. So that is the 60 degrees. You see here, 60 degrees north. Okay. So this is called polar front. Oh, this one here. You see here, this one. Polar front. Right. So this junction is called polar front. That is feral cell and the polar cell between this place. Okay. So, and also what you find, there is a polar front jet streams also, right? Here. And also it created jet streams because of this mixing of warm and cold air. Warm and cold air, right? So, here, this 60 degrees north, where jet streams is formed here only. So, which is called polar front jet stream, right? So now, when we are discussing this formation of this particular polar vortex, let's understand how it is created and why it is a low pressure system, right? Why do we say? So now what happens? Why it is low pressure system? So that is not the low atmosphere. It is the upper atmosphere. You can see this image. It is above the tropopause, right?
This is so confusing, ma'am.
Yeah, wait. My mouse is stuck. Sorry. So this lower atmosphere, it is upper atmosphere here. So you can see this image, it is above the tropopause. This layer is troposphere. Tropopause. It is in the stratosphere and many times also exceeds stratosphere also, right? So it is in the upper atmosphere as we see here. So that is the first point. Now, when you see this warm front, you will see here. So it is obviously will go up, this one, right? Here. And cold front will dominate here. These are the cold fronts. So that is what warm and cold air has this property, right? So what happens, one branch of this actual going here, right here, and subsiding down. But you see this particular image, you can see, observe here, okay? Sorry, mouse is stuck.
And because of the mixing of cold air and warm air, this vortex is formed.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So this warm air obviously rise up and it will go the polar vortex belt. So where it will start doing this whirling reaction, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Circulation due to Coriolis force. That is called Coriolis force. It means strongest wear at the poles. So if strongest force is strongest at the poles, that warm air that rises up will start rotating, that is counterwise, right? Clockwise in the northern hemisphere, right? So that is how this polar vortex is formed, and that is important to understand the formation of polar vortex, right?
And warm air comes from the southern part, ma'am.
Yes.
Or from the equator.
Not equator.
Southern only.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so you see here, what happened here, the formation of the polar vortex is that warm you see here, warm front that rise up here, the upper atmosphere, and one branch is actually subsiding down here, this type.
Yes, ma'am, but it is coming from tropic region or from the polar southern region?
Polar vortex.
Okay.
So the tropopause is the dividing the line, right? So that's why some are get confused that even if it is a north pole, why this is low pressure. So this low pressure is because of this warm air front that goes up there, right? And in context to this area, that is actually relatively more warm because the ground area is very, very far to cool, right? So relatively, it is warmer. So that is why it is low pressure, right? And where is this low pressure is sitting? It is sitting on the lower atmosphere, which is high pressure, right?
Ma'am, it's coming from the equator or near, it's mentioned, see, ma'am. Low pressure.
Low pressure, right.
Equator. It's
vertex,
coming
right?
from the equator, not from the southern
Equator.
hemisphere.
Okay. The next. So this is the guard, right? So this line. So there is a gate here, like gate, right? Polar front, right? So that is polar front jet stream. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Front jet stream. So it is like a guard. So it is like a gate. So which does not allow this polar vortex to move away. So it is fixed in this particular zone only. Okay. So, but remember, at times when this guard is sleeping, what is happening? For example, in our
It crosses the border.
right. So when this weakens, remember jet streams also weakens. You see here,
Yes, ma'am.
polar vortex and strong polar vortex, right? So that is when this polar vortex gets time to actually intrude into certain areas where you find difficulty in the some of the Midwest United States and also Canada, where lots of cold winds and negative temperatures are there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You see here, two diagrams. When you have stable polar vortex here, right? And you have strong jet stream here, this one. Okay, it means these positions are fixed here, right? So it is there clearly on the northern pole.
Yes. Northern hemisphere.
And it is now guided or bounded by this God, like, sorry, this. Okay? So that is strong jet streams, right? So this is a normal situation, stable situation, right? So, but at times when there is weakening in the jet streams, when this is loosening up, right? Loosening up, because you understand that there is a continuous, right? Continuous, this continuous north and southward shift, right? So that is of the insulation and temperatures built, right? So accordingly, pressure built also shift. So, and remember, jet streams is formed because of the drastic difference between these air masses, right? So because of that, also weakens at times, and when it weakens, what happens? This cold air moves like this one, this arrow marks, right? These three. So moves this southwards, that you see this particular area, this one. So that waves called, what is that? Rossby, R-O-S-S-by, Rossby waves. This waves called Rossby waves. So when the Rossby, R-O-S-S-B-Y.
Okay.
Rossby waves. So these waves are weak waves, right? So it cannot contain this particular air, and it starts going down here. And that is when there starts a problem, and that is where, because of this polar vortex oscillation. So according to this Arctic oscillation, as we say, it starts happening here. So this is where it impacts the land area. You see this land area, right? This arrow mark land area, this entire something here, Canada and also Midwest US, which had lots of freezing temperatures, right? And beyond freezing temperatures, that leads to lots of problems or lots of troubles. So yes. Okay, that is main thing, Canada and Midwest of US, right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So next, ozone depletion. So can I continue? Only this topic is ozone depletion. Can I continue or stop?
I'm fine, ma'am. Others, I don't know.
Ma'am, next week తీసుకోండి మేడం ఇంకా పేషెన్స్ లేదు
Ozone
ma'am.
depletion ఇది so okay. Ozone depletion I will tell you in next time. Okay. Next.
Okay ma'am, thank you.
Important topic, no, ma'am. You
Yeah,
can start next class
yes,
only.
yes, this is also important topic. So
Ma'am, next class Saturday ఉంటుందా మేడం?
సాటర్డే ఉంటుంది అసలే అయితే ఇది దుర్గేష్
మేడం
ఏం చెప్పారంటే మీకు ఏ టైం అవైలబిలిటీ ఉంటే అది మీరు చెప్పండి అన్నారు. మీ
ఓకే మేడం.
ఆఫ్టర్ 6 we can take. సో
ఓకే మేడం, ఆఫీస్ అవర్స్ తర్వాత ఎప్పుడైనా మేడం.
మీరు ఎప్పుడు when you are free we will take the class.
Okay, ma'am.
ఓకే మేడం.
But Saturday and Sunday is must and should.
Okay, madam.
Other than Saturday and Sunday, anytime after 6 in normal weekdays.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, madam.
So that is your wish. Monday to Friday.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Evening time. Okay.
Yes,
Okay, ma'am.
Sunday in the other mana class. Last Sunday and yesterday this Sunday. So 3 classes is over and remaining 7 classes. So that is our wish.
Okay, ma'am.
Timings.
Okay, ma'am.
We can take more than 7 classes also, no, ma'am? If you...
No, only 7 classes. Remaining 7 classes. We will finish in 7 classes only.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Right. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Any doubts? So
No,
is very interesting topic and also important topic also, right?
yes,
so,
ma'am.
Examination asking from this topic 15 marks question. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
The ozone depletion or write about the ozone depletion like that. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay then.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, bye.
Bye, madam.
Bye, bye.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Okay.